This is 8K. It's focusing pretty good. Should have shaved, fixed my eyebrows. All the imperfections are gonna come out. Welcome back to another video. My name is Nikos. Today we're talking about the R6, my first impressions, taking it out, experiencing it, seeing how it is on a replica of what I would do on a normal shoot. Now, I did do one of these with the R5. I really liked the experience there. It made me feel really, really good inside to just have something that was like the R, felt good, and it was almost like what the R should be. The R6, I didn't get that whole full emotions. Now, I'm shooting on 8K right now, and on the R5, I'm testing it out. I am testing out the memory for 64 gigabytes or 128 on the computer to see how it's editing. I will be making videos on all of this, of course, and I will be doing more tests on the CF Express cards for the R5. I am testing the cards on dual with the dual backup or dual sync on the R6, and of course doing that with the R5. So subscribe and you'll see all the videos pop up as we move along through January here. So overall, R6. Did I enjoy it? Yes. As I got to use it more and more, I'm starting to enjoy it more and more. Now, originally, I took it out. You start to use it. It's like awesome. Like the fact that it's got IBS in here, the fact that you are able to take pictures at nighttime, and it's just like, night photography is just awesome. The video that comes out of here, it is awesome. Now, of course, the professionals are going to be like, whoa, it doesn't do this, or this, or this. And that's fine. Like there's scenarios, and you got to put in the idea of those scenarios and what you need for those scenarios. So if you're a creator, if you're somebody just going and starting up a business and you need the basics of 4K and the images that come out of these cameras, yes, you can always do better, but for people that I just described, you don't need the best. You don't need certain things. You just need something that's going to get the job done. This does that. Now, my idea here is very simple. The features and everything inside of this is great. The workflow is where this camera kind of takes the negative on this. And of course, as I use it more and I give you a more concrete idea of how I feel about both these cameras, the first impressions are this: the workflow. I've figured out how to save certain custom scenarios with the C1 to the C3, and both on photography and video, so I could just flick back and forth really quickly. And that's what made me feel better about this camera as I was using it out and about. I took out one of my cousins as well to take some photos. They wanted some stuff for Christmas, and it was just, let's go do some night photography. Let's test this camera out and let's see how this does. I'm going to take the R5, of course, and do something similar and use it in a real world scenario with a, probably another cousin or the same cousin, because, they're really photogenic. And what I want to do is just test this out to see how this all works out for me. If I did take out a real life client that was kind of like, hey, I want to have perfection there, and what can we do? Do I take out the R6? Do I take the R5? But right now I'm leaning towards the R6. I'm really loving this. Now, do the megapixels cause a concern for me? Yes and no. Now, I'm a cropper. I like to crop. However, I'm not like, I'm going to crop like, the craziness here. It's like you never crop more than 20 to 30% anyways. Now people have cropped up to 50% of the photo. That's crazy to me, but it does happen. And yes, some clients request that sometimes, and you're like, well, I can only go to those some X amount. So, I mean, from a perspective of megapixels and the quality of the pictures that come out of here between the R6 and the R5, honestly, I can't complain between the two. Now, I know if a client requests something where they want something printed or they want more detail with the cropping and this and that, and we know we're going to be in this situation, the R5 is going to come with me 100%. But right now, the R6, yeah, this is great. Now, where is the awesomeness in this? I love the fact that I can do a backup immediately of both, like any content I'm shooting. That is awesome in any setting. The R5, you can't really do that, and that's a bummer. Now, with the idea of this camera, overall, the settings, everything in it, from you being able to sit there and take awesome photos with high ISO and when it's completely dark, it's amazing to me. The fact that I can use the different lenses and shoot awesome video, amazing to me. This is something that I believe the R should have been. And that's the bottom line. The R should have been like this camera, and that's the bottom line. But here we are. So I bought this. Am I going to be keeping this as a go-to camera? Of course not. I think the R5 is more in line with what I do. My workflow is very simple. When I went out, I took a whole bunch of pictures, which is what I usually will do. I will take pictures. I will switch to video, usually shooting in 4K 24 frames or 23.9 9, 8, whatever it is. And of course, use 60 when need to, and the slow-mo 120. Like, you have to drop it down to the 1080p, but like the quality came out of it. I know it's soft. I know people are like, oh my God, but you're not going to notice in these videos that you're going to see. Most of the time, most of the things that you're going to be shooting, you're not going to notice that. The clients won't notice that. And unless it's requested by a customer that they need to have specifications, at the end of the day, you're delivering a product, and that product is based around the fundamentals of what that deliverable is. If that includes you needing to get specifics on a camera that involve, okay, 4K 120, then that, at the end of the day, how are you gonna like worry about that when you go out? Like, can you get the quality you want as a creator, as somebody who's using this camera on a daily? Is that going to be enough for you? And that's all you need to be worried about. For me, I could use the 1080 120 frames and be fine. I don't think a customer will notice it. I don't think they're going to be very specific to it, and that's because of the way the projects we've been doing and the way we're shooting. That's it. Again, the features on this, amazing. For me, what I'm seeing, the future of Canon is going to be awesome if they can keep up and not limit the cameras. Could they have made this better? Yes, of course. Can they make it better with some firmware updates? Yes. Again, a lot of it relates back to workflow. When you're looking at how you're going to customize this, I'm going to be making a video on how I did customize it so you can be able to shoot a lot quicker. Like, I have the video mode is set up for right away slow-mo on 120 frames, and then the other settings are set up so that I know I can switch to it. When I press record, it's going to be shooting at the 24 or the 60. And of course, I have for the images, I can just go back and forth, and it's super simple then. And we're off to the races. And of course, there is the extra menu for the quick setup, so I can go in there and switch anything that I need on the things that I usually use. I will walk you through that. Hit subscribe so you don't miss that video if that is something that you want to know about. Now, overall, can I trust this camera? Well, that's something that we got to figure out. The overheating, there was none because I was out in -8-degree weather. So there was none there on any of the shooting that I did. I did let the camera run both in the slow-mo and the 4K. There was no overheating in -8. So at least we got that. I've been doing tests on this, and in the studio, what I've noticed is that if I let the temperature go up, the Canon recommendations of 23 degrees, yes, they're totally correct. So when you hear people online say, oh, it doesn't overheat, or yes, it does overheat, ask them what their workflow is like and what they are actually shooting. So I took this camera so far, I'm still doing tests, but on 4K 23 frames, 23.95 frames or 24 frames per second. What I'm seeing with this is that at over 23, you're going to get a half an hour and then or 27 minutes or so. And then you're going to get the heating sign come up. It's going to start blinking, and then you're going to be able to use it for at least another 20 minutes. When it's under 23 degrees, when it's around 21 is what I was testing in here in the studio. Well, in that case, like literally you get the notification around the 35-minute mark or so, 30 to 35 minutes, and then it'll run you right up to around 50 minutes and sometimes to over an hour. So, I mean, it's not like you're not going to get the requirements met if you're doing stuff like studio work and this and that. However, I can't trust this to do batch work. If I want to do batch work, I can't do that. And at that, you sit there and you look at it and you say, okay, and by batch work, I mean, like, I want to be able to just shoot a whole bunch of these videos and then go edit them. I won't be able to do that. The camera will overheat. So then I have to go edit, come back to another one, go edit, come back. And that just, it just slows you down overall. But with the R5, I got the heating sign up right now, shooting in 8K. Seems that, right now the degrees we're at with 8K, you can only go about 12 minutes or so. So, I mean, think about it from that perspective and say to yourself, okay, I got to test this out. What's my environment like? What do I need to do? What are my limitations on that? That's what we're going to be doing through the next set of videos on these cameras. Overall, the quality on the images, the settings, everything that they're providing within this camera, I'm kind of like blown away. I'm so excited to be using this. This is awesome. I made some good purchases here. And at that, I know that when the R5C comes out and some other cameras, I know that this one will be the camera that I'm probably going to be selling first, if not just keeping these depending on what comes out. But I know that the R5 is the go-to right now. This could change, and this could change because of what comes out or based on whatever I am doing in the studio, how this is all shaping up with the customers that I'm going to be working with over for the next couple months, see how everything works for me, and then go from there. My name is Nikos. Hit that like, hit that subscribe so you don't miss the next few videos, and of course check out these 2 videos.